Hello, this is Annette with Project Refine Life. I am here today with a super fun VR, one that I've been actually thinking about making, but I didn't have to create it because Musings by Masha went ahead and created one. I opened up my YouTube this morning and she'd created this fun VR, which speaks on all the shiny decks. I have been talking lately about how I have just been loving all the shiny things, including things like angel aura quartz and just anything shimmery and shiny. I'm just very, very attracted and just loving it lately. So this video is all about all the shimmery, shiny decks that I have. So either on the cards themselves or the backs. I did not include any of the decks that I have with the beautiful edging alone because this video would have lasted forever if we start talking about edging in itself. Let's start. One of my favorites is the Self-Love Tarot. Now the Self-Love Tarot is this beautiful, beautiful deck. I mean, it's so heartwarming and just such a beautiful deck, but above and beyond the overall feeling that you get from the deck, look at this beautiful gold foil stamping that's on the deck, just weaved throughout the entire deck. There is not one card that doesn't shine brightly. They are just beautiful, gorgeous, loving cards. I love this deck so much. It is such a joy to have this thing in my collection, and it just brings me such comfort and such warmth. I really enjoy this deck. Okay, another deck that I have is the Dreamweaver Tarot. Now, I believe this deck is something else now. It's called by a different name. It's on Etsy. I'll try to locate the name and make sure that I include it down below. They look like little Polaroid pictures. And this has all this beautiful shimmery, shiny stuff. So the cards themselves, it's like a background, a landscape, but on the deck has these beautiful silver foils, edgings or whatever it's referred to, but it's so shimmery and shiny, and it gives you like this pop of color and luxury within the deck, and it's a fun deck to have and work with. Not one that I bring out a lot, but it is a fun deck to work with. I do like it, and I do like all the little blinginess of that. Look at that. Two decks that I have that are by the same creator, but totally different tarot decks, even though some would think, oh, they're so similar. No, not at all. But the first is by the Solera Occulto Tarot, and although the backs don't have any shimmer or shine, this is the second edition. Each and every card has this beautiful gold border around it, and it just really makes the entire deck just shine. It is just such a gorgeous deck. It's such a beautiful reader. I know you can't get this one anymore, and I'm really, really sorry. But remember, I'm not doing this to sell anybody decks. I'm just sharing with you the things that I love and that I enjoy. So next, by the same creator, is one of my more recent acquisitions, which is the Crimson Asteria Tarot. This deck is just blowing my mind. I can't get enough of this deck. You're going to get the reflection of the camera here, so I'm very, very sorry. You're getting the reflection of the fan too. But here is the beautiful Medusa card. This is the only card in the deck that is like this. The rest of the deck is pretty calm. There's no gold foiling or stamping on the cards themselves, but nonetheless, just a glorious deck. It has this little gold detail on the border, but the backs, oh my goodness, love this deck. The Luminous Void Tarot has been just such a beautiful deck in my collection. I have to admit, I don't work with it all that much, but it would never go anywhere because I love this deck. It is just beautiful. And the cards themselves, although they don't have any gold foiling or stamping, the backs are just glorious. Look at that. Now the fronts are like these, what do they call them? Like these ink spot type. I am not a painter. I am not an artist, as you can tell, but these cards are beautiful. And I think if there would have been any gold foiling on these cards, it actually would have ruined the cards themselves, just because the nature of the paintings. But the backs, oh my goodness, look at that. Okay. So this is one that everybody, I'm sure, recognizes, the Moonchild Tarot. And I have to say that one of the things that I loved about this deck were the backs. I held off on this deck for a long time. I didn't get it when it came out. I didn't get it when it was available. I waited, and this was actually one of those decks that I got because, to be honest, because everybody else was getting it and everybody else talked so highly about it. And I do enjoy it, but it's hard for me. It's one of those decks that I like it, but I don't really reach for it all that often. I don't know what my problem is, but the backs, look at the back. I mean, that is just a beautiful piece of art right there. Just gorgeous. The Journey of the Sacred Bee. This deck is so beautiful. The images themselves do not have any blingy, goldy thing or stamping or anything of the sorts on the cards. There's so much life and vibrance that you would think that there is some kind of bling going on within the cards. But the backs, this turquoise foiling on the back is just beautiful. These beautiful bees, oh my goodness. And then, since we're here and we're talking about it, I can talk about the edges. Oh my goodness, these edges are just so gorgeous. The accompanying oracle deck is the Wisdom of the Sacred Bee Oracle. And it is the same thing with this deck. Although it doesn't have anything on the cards themselves, the backs have these beautiful purple foil bees on them, and then the sides have this beautiful purple edging. The cards themselves, of course, do not have any of them, but oh my goodness, there is enough bling within this deck, and the way that it's created, so much sacred geometry and so much beauty within this deck, you would hardly even know that you don't have the bling on the cards themselves. Such a beautiful deck. We have the Embroidered Forest Tarot, and Alicia did an amazing job with this deck. Now, this is the first edition. It has the border around the edge, but look at the silver foiling on this. And then each and every card carries this beautiful silver foiling within the card that just accompanies and enhances the beautiful embroidered work that she did. This is such a beautiful deck, and it really is a grounding deck, even with all this bling and everything to it. I mean, it is a very grounding and nurturing deck. I really do enjoy this deck. Oh, and here we go. Some silver edging to go along with it. Now, Alicia also created the Embroidered Graveyard, which is pretty new to my collection. But again, she went all out and put the foiling on the back, on the side. Each and every card has it, and it is just such a beautiful deck. I think half of it is upside down, so let's go ahead and flip that around. Oh my goodness, I have a complete walkthrough on this Oracle deck. I just am really enjoying this deck. Now that I'm done with my only 10 decks for Lent, I am able to explore this deck a little bit more, and I really, really enjoy it. One of my Oracle decks that I really love, it's such a healing and beautiful deck, is the Rose Alchemy Oracle. Now, although the cards themselves do not have any bling on them other than these gorgeous, brilliant, beautiful roses themselves, and again, if something would have been put on here with the gold foiling, it just would have made it too much. This is quite enough. But the back of this has this beautiful sacred geometry and then this beautiful gold foiling that highlights the name, and it is just beautiful. The next Oracle deck is a Yogic Path. This gorgeous deck has this beautiful gold foiling on the back, and of course the art was done as the same person who did the Moonchild, so very similar feel, very similar type photography and collage work within the deck. And of course there's none of that gold foiling here, but who needs it, because you have this beautiful gold foiling on the back. It is just beautiful. I went ahead and did like a whole rainbow of colors on it to correspond with the guidebook, but beautiful, beautiful deck. And my final Oracle deck is Threads of Faith Oracle Rose Edition. Now, I know that she has other editions and they all shimmer and shine. This is the one that I have, and this deck shines. Look at the backs. This deck is just beautiful, and the guidebook is incredible. If you have not given this deck a chance and want something that's really deep, this is one of those decks that to me is just a very deep and beautiful deck, and it goes with so many things. I just love it so much. Now, aside from all the Oracle and the Tarot decks, I have to tell you that if you look at some of the books that are out lately, they all have this beautiful foiling on them too. This is a book that I'm reading right now, but they're just gorgeous. I think it's not just me with all of this gold foiling and the shimmery and the shiny stuff. I could go upstairs and pull tons of books for you guys that all have this beautiful touch going through them. So I am more than excited to see what other decks come out with shimmery and shiny things so that I can get my hands on those too. Masha, thank you so much for this fun VR. I am so excited to talk about all my shiny decks and bring out some of my shiny crystals to share with you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys all so much. I wish you guys a very shiny and blingy day. From my heart to yours, I will see you later.